Hello everyone, welcome to another video. This time we're doing a review of this, a BMW X3 F25, and this came out in 2010 to 2017. We're looking at a UK spec. Here I have the facelift model that came out in 2014, and it's got three trims in the facelift. You've got the Sport, the X line, and you've got the M Sport. Here I have the X line. So we have a look at how it looks. So from the front here, it's nice and aggressive. And I like the chrome edges that you get on the X line. Try not to get the bottom of the range ones. But as you can see, it sits very well. It's the baby sister to the X5 if the design cues look familiar. And it's got the usual Hofmeister kink there. And I like how they've got these creases right where you need them, and then the nice chrome accents at the bottom there, because otherwise if that door was plain it would just look really ugly. It will remind you of the 90s when Seat Toledo and Seat Ibiza, when they had those plain doors, and it just looked so bad. Looking at the back, as you can see, the rear bulge there really helps on the wheel arches to give it a nice sporting stance. And this facelift, although it's subtle, it's just those little changes to how the creases are, and then the body shape smoothed out, the body shape there at the back. It's less fussy and looks really classy. Is it going to win any beauty contests in its class? No, but it's very elegant, and that's what you are. If that's what you're after, then is the car for you in terms of looks. In terms of the most beautiful ones, you've got to look at the GLC and also the Volvo XC60. They I think are the most beautiful cars in its class. So the XC60 is a bit like that XC90 over there, as you can see, far more beautiful. But in terms of, as I'll show you later, in terms of the overall build quality and materials used, the BMW uses the best overall quality of the lot, even better than Audi, I would say. So let's look at the back. So the back, you've got plenty of legroom. Look at the legroom on that. Headroom is great. There's not too much space under the seats, but if you can try and get the driver to just raise their seat up a little bit, you might be able to squeeze in your toe in there. But nonetheless, loads of knee room. And these seats, the bolsters, as per usual with the BMWs, are really long. And they're angled that way, so they're fantastic for long journeys. And you can get 3 adults in, because the center isn't raised too much, so you should be able to. And because it's relatively wide, even the hump there doesn't get in the way, so 3 adults should be able to get in here nicely. And being the X line, you've got the pan roof. Oh, you've got to have the pan roof. It really sets it off. And because of the dark interior, if you've got kids, this really helps to get some light in. And of course the windows are nice and big, so if you've got the babies in there, they can look out, not get road sick, and then they can enjoy the scenery outside. So very good in terms of practicality and comfort. And although these bolsters don't look that thick, they're actually quite compliant and comfortable. And as you can see, as I was alluding to, interior quality, materials are really good. So we look at the boot. So this is an electric tailgate on this one, on the X-Line trim, but look at that, nice square boot, huge. You can get lots of luggage in there, get all the prams, etc. It's a fantastic. Look at that. Shall we look at what the driver perspective is like? So you got the usual, if you're in a BMW, you know these switches inside out, very logically laid out. If a bit conservative, but very logical, very Germanic, very high, good quality interior. I'm not really a big fan of the mahogany type inlays here. I prefer the aluminium look. If you've seen my review of the BMW F10, you'll see that the aluminium look is so much better. I don't like the wood, but hey ho, it is what it is. You've got the lovely ZF gearbox. You've got to get the automatic gearbox. The manual is good, but really if you want to, the ones that sell are the autos. So yeah, it's a nice pleasant place to be. Lovely good quality materials all round. Yeah, nothing to complain about in here. Obviously in terms of feeling really special, that Mercedes GLC, it's got the best looking interior. Maybe not the best quality materials, but the interior ambience is just unmatched on the GLC. So this BMW can't match it for that, but it comes close. It's and I like how they've integrated the sat-nav unit within the dashboard rather than plonking on a unit like is the case these days. So I like how it's integrated like this. So fantastic. Shall we go for a quick drive and then do a final review? So off she goes. Pulls really well. Although it's a 2-litre diesel engine carrying this really heavy 4x4, actually drives superb, really nice and responsive. Whoa, as she goes. It helps that this is the facelifted model with the 190 horsepower brake horsepower, so it really does help. You can notice the difference. Fantastic power delivery, and the ZF gearbox is super smooth, so the gear changes are seamless, and suspension lovely. This being the X line, it's still got dynamic driving style, but it's just forgiving enough so that when you go up these humps and bumps, the small of your back is not hurting like it does on the M Sport. The M Sport obviously has the really hard suspension, so a bit of warning. If you get the M Sport, try and get the adaptive dampers, please. I'm sure I'll cover that in my review. But yes, this X line sits at the top of the tree with the M Sport, but with a softer suspension and slightly more forgiving tyres as well, because the tyres have got a bigger sidewall to them. They're that much more absorbing of the humps and bumps, so it's a more pleasant experience. The only drawdown to this particular X line is, I would say, these seats. The M Sport seats are a lot more supportive, and as you can see on this bit here, this doesn't stick out, so you don't get the under thigh support that I would ideally like. And I'm not the tallest person in the world, I'm 5'6", and I don't think I've got enough under thigh support there for longer journeys. It's comfortable, don't get me wrong, but if you've seen my review of the 5 Series 520D M Sport, you'll see those seats that are basically replicated on the M Sport version of these are really supportive, and they would be ideal, but unfortunately this one doesn't have it. That's the only drawback really on this car. Otherwise it's a lovely place to be. Superb interior, the quality of the materials is second to none. Excellent visibility all round with the big mirrors, big windows. Obviously this one hasn't been tinted. I like it standard, to be honest with you, without these tints. It's like too boy racerish otherwise, but yeah, nice. I mean, look, the interior is not going to win any beauty awards. It's not as exuberant as, say, the Mercedes, but everything is absolutely of the highest quality. The only thing I don't like is this mahogany inserts here. I prefer the aluminium look so that you don't get these scratch marks showing, but that's easily solved with a bit of polish, you know. Otherwise, every one of these buttons work. A little bit of steering wheel wear there on the thing, but otherwise good quality leather used, and these seat bases are really nice and comfortable for passengers. And of course the pan roof, you gotta have that on this. Lovely. Let's go for a final review. So there you have it. What a lovely drive. Driving dynamics wise, this is the best in class. Reliability wise, well, in terms of the execs, it's pretty reliable actually. You look after it and it will look after you. Parts are expensive, but it's on a par with every other executive car. If you're getting this sort of car, you cannot expect cheap prices in terms of parts, but relative to its competitors, it's actually really good. Like a basic service on this car at BMW is under £250, and compare that to the GLC, and the GLC is about 400, so it's very competitive, really good reliability really. What do you go for in the range? Well, you need to go for this 22 litre diesel there. And please, when you do though, the things to watch out for is that when these first came out, make sure you get the 2 litre diesel that is the B47 engine, because the previous N47 had timing chain issues because the guides were made of plastic, and those plastic guides used to fall off and cause issues. But if you get, like this one is the B47, so 2014 and onwards you should be fine. Before that you're kind of trying your luck, so I wouldn't suggest you get that. I suggest getting a 2014 and above, and especially if you're in London, 2014 and above means it's ULEZ compliant, so that is another bonus in itself. But reliability wise, this 20D, that's the same engine that goes in the 5 Series that I reviewed before. Really solid, really economical, and the tax, because the emissions are low, tax is really reasonable. I think it's about £170 on this car for the year, which is unheard of for an SUV, isn't it? Especially in the executive class, so it's fantastic. So reliability wise, great. Driving dynamics, top of the class. Beauty wise, near the bottom of the class really. But that's subjective, because I think it looks elegant enough, but compared to a GLC or XC60, maybe not. So yeah, the only really thing to watch out for with these cars in terms of the reliability issues is to avoid the N47 diesel engines because of the timing chain issues. This 2 litre is peppy enough, 4-cylinder, but if you want that extra and if you can afford it, try and go for the 6-cylinder 30D, because it's got absolutely fantastic pickup, and you only lose like a few miles per gallon in terms of the fuel economy, and about 20 or 30 pound extra in road tax, so it's not that much. So if you can afford the 6-cylinder 3 litre diesel, then go for that one. But do bear in mind, obviously insurance and maintenance costs are going to be that bit more, so the sweet spot is this one overall. Would I recommend it? Most definitely, but it just depends on what you want. If you want something that feels solid on the road with really good dynamics, then this is the one to go for. But if you're someone who wants something aesthetically pleasing, then you'll have to look at the GLC or the XC60. But those two cars, they just don't drive as nice as this car. And of course, remember, these cars, they might be 4-wheel drives, but they're really built for the urban environment. Don't try and think this can compete with the Land Rover. If you want to go off-roading, then get the Land Rover. Hope that helped everyone. Do like and subscribe, and see you on the next one.